How do you teach a young person how to speak well? Because obviously right speech comes from, again, intention as well and thinking too.
Well, it's not that hard. The hard part is to integrating the teaching of the human onto the curriculum requirement in the school. Because when the students come to the school already, their timetables filled by subjects that are dictated by the curriculum requirement, right? The border studies or the education authority stipulate a certain set of subjects they need to learn. So as educators, our challenge is to find ways to integrate or to infuse the teaching of right speech, right action, and right livelihood into it. We need to have some fundamental principles that we need to know in order to impart those values into the kids. And in our school, we have 10 fundamental principles of moral codes of conduct. And they're basically the 3 forms. It's how to take action, how to speak, and how to think for their livelihood. There are 4 factors that contribute poor speech or great speech. We developed a project-based learning called the Right Speech Competition. And in that Right Speech Competition, we cleverly, wisely choose topics of discussions that will relate to the curriculum, that will allow the kids to be able to use that moral codes of conduct and then give their perspective and give their feelings about it. Of course, as you said before, because they are speaking in the presence of teachers, we are able to guide them, to mark them, to give them evaluation. And this is one example of how we actually integrate the teaching of life skills into the academic curriculum to achieve the outcome of a wholesome education.
I think now might be a very good time to actually show our audience a bit of real footage from what you mentioned to be the Right Speech, which is a program that we actually run at Pal Buddhist School every year. So just to fill in the gaps for those who've not heard of this before, we've got a short video to show you to let you have a look.
We're born, we'll age, we'll be sick, and we will die. This is an absolute truth the Buddha mentioned. As humans, we should know that they're absolute truths, truths that cannot be proved wrong. However, we doubt these truths and seek other resolutions to fulfill our own sensual desire. We're influenced by postmodernism, our style, our generation, our desire. We question absolute truth like, why is 1 + 1 = 2? Why is stealing bad? Why do we suffer? At PAL, one of our school moral conduct states to refrain from taking what is not given, yet it still occurs. Picture this. One is at a hotel and they think, since I pay so much, I'm just going to borrow this box of tissue and I'll never return. They are poisoned by delusion without realizing that something as simple as taking a tissue box may result to other consequences, as they influence future generations to think it is okay to steal. They doubt the truth that stealing is morally wrong and fulfill their desires by unwholesome actions, resulting harm to one's cultivation of wisdom because of the central idea of postmodernism and the belief of no absolute truths. We think, yes, what I'm doing is right. Like the tissue example, we're unable to cultivate contentment and generosity because our view is gripped by doubt and sensual desire. We're unable to see the escape of doubt because our mind is like a pot of turbid water. Similarly to sensual desire, our mind is like a pot of water but mixed with many colors, resulting in the difficulty to search for the right intention. The Buddha also stated these absolute truths, the 4 noble truths. The first is know that suffering exists. It is the equivalent to question, why is 1 plus 1 equal to 2? Those who question are suffering. Why? The doubt that grips one's mind is unable to release themselves for further knowledge. But those who choose to accept the truth will be able to enrich their knowledge using the fundamental basics. But as mentioned before, suffering is in many forms, including the stealing example or the truth that we're born, we'll age, we'll be sick, and we will die. Leading to the next noble truth. Note that suffering is caused by cravings and attachments. We frequently pay unwise attention to our desires, the attachment to materialistic items. In the example of tissues, we nourish our sensual desire that has already arisen to dilute the taste of suffering. Before you freak out, the third noble truth is, know that suffering can end. Wow, mind blowing, right? But it's not the, oh my gosh, homework is suffering, but the realization of the hindrances that's possessing you. So, for the last noble truth, know that suffering can be ended through the Noble Eightfold Path. This is also the true resolution for one to cultivate wisdom, as we need the right view and intention, as I discussed. Morality ensures that we cultivate the school's moral conduct, which is divided into right speech, action, and livelihood. Lastly, diligence. We need the right effort, mindfulness, and mastery, because nothing will be successful without dedication, persistence, and persistence. As a student, I feel lucky to be at Pal due to Mr. Pal's mission, and thank you to all the benefactors who supported the school, because Mr. Pal wants to create a school of equivalence to a hospital, where the teachers are like doctors. They wholesomely guide me with the use of the Noble Eightfold Path and lead me to the freedom of suffering. They administer medicine through wisdom, academic excellence, and upright moral conduct. To conclude, believing that there is no absolute truth is harmful to one's cultivation of wisdom, especially when one's hindered by doubt and sensual desire. Lana Del Rey expresses, it's the truth that you and I were born to die. Thank you. Well done.
But during this coronavirus period, we've actually moved to do it online. And we've had our first round of speakers doing it a couple of weeks ago, and they were our primary kids as well. So no one is left out of this competition. No one is left out of the opportunity to develop these lifelong skills. And more importantly, no one is left out of the opportunity to develop the wisdom. Anyone who gets up there, given a topic to speak about that stems from an understanding and exploring what good moral conduct is.